Hey everybody, Sean Holsinger here from Holsingers Fly Shop. Just wanted to share a little bit with you about the recent trip we just took to Delta, Colorado. The guys from the shop here, my dad and I, we went out to Whiting Hackle to tour their facilities and to do a little bit of fishing out there. We got to fish the Uncompahgre River a lot. We fished the pa-co-chu-pak section of the river. Hard to say, hard to remember that. Everything's different names than what I'm used to here in central Pennsylvania. Fishing was awesome out there. We fished for 4 days. In the 4 days I managed to land 7 fish that went between 19 and 22 inches. You'll see them here in a video here in a second. What we was catching our big fish on while we were out there was a black articulated leech, or just a bunny leech. When we started out, we had articulated leeches, but I didn't make as many as I thought I would need out there, and I ended up cutting them in half and using just bunny leeches, and it ended up being, but it still worked out very well for us. My dad ended up catching 4 fish that were between 17 and 20 inches. We did real well. A lot of the guys in that area do a lot of nymph fishing. We went out there with the intentions of nymph fishing. That's what we do back here. That's what we know to do. But when we got out there, I started messing around a little bit. I saw a lot of the guys were catching 1 nymphs, but nobody was catching anything big. So I wanted to, more meat on the bone for them. I ended up catching a lot once I figured it out. One thing with fly fishing in particular, you have to work till you find the pattern. When you find the pattern, you stick with it. I put on the bunny leech pattern and started fishing it. I was fishing it down and across, fishing the swing. Most of my hits were coming right as it got into the whip of the swing, which is typical with that style of fishing. My dad, on the other hand, he was trying what his normal method is with that. It was giving a little bit of twitch, giving it some action into the fly. Didn't seem to be what they wanted. Once he switched to the style that I was fishing, he caught on and started catching fish too. So, like with any other style of fishing, fly fishing is really no difference. It's a matter of finding the pattern and sticking with it. And it ended up holding through 4 days for us, and we ended up catching a lot of fish. Okay, another thing when we was out there, when we was fishing this section of water, or any section of water, when we got there, the day we got there, everything was blown out. We got into town on Wednesday night, and here they had a big storm on Tuesday night. All the streams were blown out and unfishable. We went out to fish the Gunnison, and it was high and muddy. It just looked like chocolate milk flowing down the stream. Always go to your local fly shops. Nobody can help you out like the local fly shops can. They'll help you out the best you can, point you in the right direction, and they did that for us. We stopped at CJ's. They were very helpful for us in Montrose. They sent us down to the Uncompahgre River, which is where the video you're going to be seeing is from. The Uncompahgre, the section we fished in, is right below the Ridgeway Dam, the Ridgeway Reservoir. The reason they sent us there was because the stream is controlled by the reservoir. Everybody else was washed out with the high water and the mud, and this was controlled by the reservoir. It was all nice blue water up above, so it made nice blue water down below. One thing about this river, one thing that kind of got frustrating was it's full of this fine grass, which you spent more time picking the grass off, and you'll see that in some of the videos. This section of the Uncompahgre that we're fishing, they stock full of rainbows. There's tons of rainbows. Oh man, we couldn't believe the amount of fish that we've seen in there. And they also stock the Snake River strain of the cutthroat species, and they stocked a whole bunch of breeders in there, and these were the ones that we're catching in these videos. Another thing is, though, when you're in a situation like this, you always have to be aware of the surroundings. Even if you are catching the big ones like we were, the hatch started coming off, and you got to switch, and you got to catch fish and have fun. We ended up switching from our leech pattern into a wet fly pattern. As evening caught on, a nice hatch come off. There was a pink Cahill hatch coming off, and we switched to, actually, we're eastern boys, so we don't have the pink Cahills there. We ended up putting our sulfurs on, caught a couple on top on sulfurs, and then started using our sulfur wets and started hammering them on the sulfur wets. Wet flies are a lot of fun to fish. It's an old school way of fishing. That's the way I was taught by a fellow that taught me a long time ago, and it was fun to go back to my old school ways. But always find what works and stick with it as long as it will. Dad, you'll see in the videos, he filmed me, and I helped film him whenever he did it. He was catching them the same way as I was, these big ones. Another thing when you're catching, one of the particular things about these fish that I was catching was the location of. Once I found the first one and I caught the first one, I paid attention to where I was catching that fish. And the rest of them I seemed to catch in the same area. This was a lot of, kind of like back here it's Trout Unlimited water, not Trout Unlimited, but the Trout Unlimited do projects on the streams around here. And they'll put breakers in the water. You'll have nice big rocks, the stream will go down, and then you'll have like a dam sort of thing. And this is the same way on the Uncompahgre where we was fishing. And what I was finding was you get at the bottom end of usually they would put a rock towards the bottom end of the fast water, and then you would have a nice pool until you hit the dam. If I would cast at that rock, my swing would end up right in front of that dam. Right in front of that dam in the nice slow water was where these big trout were laying. Pretty much all the holes we came to, it was the same thing. Well, as long as you could manage to get your swing in front of the dam, in front of the slower water, that's where you would pick up the big ones. And it was just a matter of, just reliving that in every hole you came to, paying attention to your surroundings, paying attention to the stream and the structure in the stream, and once you nail that down, fishing can take a whole different ball game for you, and you can catch a lot of fish. Thanks a lot for watching our video. Keep checking back. We're working on a beginner series right now. Flies that every fly tyer should have in their box, and they're easy to tie, that you'll learn to tie with. Watch us, and don't forget to anything you need. Most of the things that we show on our videos we have on our website, or we will be getting on our website shortly. And anything you need we can order for you. Don't forget to check us out at holsingersflyshop.com, and thanks for watching.